Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to RobMotive. So I'm kind of caught between a rock and a hard place on my new Toyota Tacoma. You know, there's been a lot of talk, a lot of comments about rock chips and sandblasting of the back section of the truck because of Toyota's, I guess, flinging stuff backwards and small mud flaps. Now, let me say, first of all, I'm not a huge mud flap guy. I don't like the way that they look, and I prefer to not have them on the truck at all. So I've removed mine from the front and the back, and honestly, even if I had them on the front, or wanted to have them on the front, I really couldn't because of the offset and the size of the tires that I have on. It would probably hit. I'm not exactly sure, but it would be pretty close once the wheel turns and the truck articulates and everything, right? Doesn't matter to me. I don't want them on there anyway. Moving to the back, and this is where it becomes important, I suppose, again, along the side as well. I don't have them either. Now, I'm not really worried about throwing a lot of stones and stuff back here. Yeah, they could impact the back, I suppose, but unless I had a big giant mud flap on here coming out to really about here, I don't see how they're going to do any good. And it kind of cracks me up. Some people will put mud flaps on and they don't cover the whole tire out of the back. They leave something exposed, and I always think, well, what's the point in doing that? Yeah, you're going to stop some percentage of the rocks and things from hitting, but you're not going to stop them all. You really would have to cover the whole back of the tire, both front and back. So let's take a look and see. I'm curious if I'm getting any kind of chippage on my truck. Now you can see an imperfection here in the PPF they put on. I don't really see any chips in the PPF or anything. You can see there's dirt on the truck, but these are not chips. I don't have any chips that I can see anywhere back here. All this is just dirt and grime and stuff. So either the PPF is doing its job and it's not getting damaged either, or I'm not getting any rocks being thrown back by the tires in the front, even with the offset that I have. But what about down the side of the doors and stuff? Here you can see some white stuff, but that's just dirt. I don't see any chips on here. And by the way, if you've ever noticed the difference in paint here, it is intentional. I remember a while back, I had one of my trucks up on the lift, and I was looking at it more closely, and I saw that kind of difference in texturing of the paint along the sides, and I thought I had a problem. I thought Toyota screwed up my truck, right? So I'm all up in arms, and then I thought, you know, I had to look at the other side, because typically if it's the same on two different sides, it was probably intended. And after research, I discovered it is planned that way. But anyway, going back to the potential rock chipping of the tires, I don't see anything up here either. Not that you really should get much here. It's going to throw stuff back this way if you're going to have a problem, right? And it's going to throw it most likely off of this area here towards the back. Maybe if something gets stuck in the top, I suppose it could maybe kick off higher up, I don't know. But I'm not seeing anything. So let's go ahead and check back here, see if I'm getting any kind of chips here. And again, you've got a lot of dirt and stuff. I mean, there's no chippage, anything like that back here that I can see anywhere. I don't even see anything hitting the step that I put on, which, by the way, I love. If you don't have one of these, you've got to invest in one of these. If you ever get in and out of your truck, it makes it very handy, very convenient. The install is also pretty simple too. So looking around at the other side, again, you've got your typical spray or dirt off of the tire there in the back. I don't see any issues in the way of chips. Let's check here. Nope, that's just dirt. The same little imperfection in the PPF here. I'm really not impressed with the job that Toyota does when it comes to PPF. but no problems. So why am I seeing videos of people posting up chips and paint and stuff, but I'm not experiencing on that on my truck rather? Well, I'm going to attribute it to the rock rails. You know, I put these on primarily to cover up the pinch weld down below. It's ugly without them, in my opinion. I think it looks much better this way, and I think it affords protection. I think that anything that flies off of the tires is going to hit that slider or a rock rail, whatever you want to call it, that I have on there. I attribute that to the reason I don't have any chips on my truck. Now, even more than this, I've seen some people use a flat step that comes out to maybe about right here. That, of course, is going to give you even more protection because it's more coverage, right? It sticks out further, and it's going to prevent, I think, anything that would normally fly around under there from hitting the truck. If anything, it's just going to hit the slider in my case, or that step. So I think the key, or the answer is, and there's really three maybe. You can go with the mud flaps if you don't mind them. Not an option for me. You can go with steps, a broader, wider kind of step, I suppose, so that they absorb any rocks or anything, or deflect any rock that might pop off of the tires. Or you can go with rock rails like what I have, because they seem to be doing a pretty good job. Again, I don't have any issues on my truck, you guys could see, from any kind of chips or anything anywhere. Not even higher up, and I'm not sure how anything would really hit up here, but I suppose it's possible given the wheel poke that I have. If you do go with the mud flaps, I would go with the Canadian version. There's two versions out there if you didn't know. The US version, which is what comes on the truck, and they're narrower. They don't even come close to covering the full width of your tire. Again, kind of a waste of time. They're gonna protect the truck from some of the rocks, but not all of them. The Canadian version is wider. You get much more coverage. And then, of course, there are aftermarket versions that are just as wide as the Canadian versions that I've seen. So if you're going to do them, why not go all the way and get as much coverage as you can? Leave a comment down below. Let me know. Take a look at your truck. Are you getting any rock chips and things back there? If you listen to the comments, or the volume of them, or at least the number of them, I guess, on the web, it would make it sound like every Toyota Tacoma that comes out has this problem. People talking about repainting and all kinds of stuff. I disagree. I don't have the issue. Maybe I just got lucky. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.